Good morning. There we go. Okay, now I can hear myself. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Charlottesville on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. My name is Janice Gilmore, and I am your celebration assistant today. Our senior minister, Reverend Don Lansky, is missing in action, off on a journey somewhere with his beautiful wife, Reverend Patricia Galino Lansky, and we hope they're having a wonderful vacation together. But fear not, we never fear at Unity. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest speaker, Reverend Catherine Klein, yes. Sorry. Reverend Catherine Klein. Yes, let's give her a hand. She's been here before. She's marvelous, and we love her. So, without further ado, we are going to sing, and we want you to sing with us our opening song. So, I'm sorry, our music director, Blair Jones, our band, her band, and our praise singers. Yay!
Here we are.
You are every mountain, God you are every ocean, God you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky, God you are every morning, God you are every midnight, God you are every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are every sunshine, God, you are every moon glow, God, you are every starshine, every inch of earth and sky, God, you are every springtime, God, you are every snowfall, God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe. And your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you.
And now, Reverend Catherine will lead us in prayer.
All right, let's just take a moment. Just breathe. And feel the energy in this room. person sitting beside you, around you, know that each and every one of us here is emanating the God Spirit into this place. We are here, so God is here. We begin this service in gratitude for this moment, for this place, for all who serve here, for everyone who has joined us here. Because today, together, we bring a powerful healing energy to the world. For this privilege, we are deeply grateful. And so it is. Amen.
And let's share together our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipresent. And now it's that time for our welcome songs. Please stand, greet your neighbor with a wave or a hug. You can roam the room and reach out to someone perhaps you've never met before.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Welcome back, Frank.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
And I wanted to give a shout out to Kevin Morrison, who is I know he's watching us with Marge and maybe Lulu, their little canine baby. Let's all give a shout out for Kevin. We love you, Kevin. We love you, Kevin. Kevin is on a healing journey, as most of you know, and we just want to make sure he knows he is loved by his spiritual family. So we have Robin. Who's going to tell you about our youth ed.
Thank you. Good morning. Hi. So, I have spent the last couple months in this, new role, really getting to know the Unity Youth Curriculum and doing a lot of reading. And I feel so blessed to be in this role. Every time I open a new book and read more about the youth curriculum, I'm just blown away. It's exactly what I want for my kids, and I think it's really the foundation for growing peace in the world. So thank you guys for inviting me into this role. I have two fun announcements, and then I'll let you know what we're doing today in youth class. On September 22nd, we're going to host the very first Youth and Family Ministry Coffee Hour at, get this, 9:30 a.m. before the service. So we'll have like can you do it? If you, I'm ready to go at 7 a.m. My kids wake up at 6. I don't know. I could be here at 7, but I'm going to say 9:30. And we'll do like coffee or some kind of morning snack, and then we will just talk about what's going on with Unity and the youth programs and upcoming events and anything that we really want for our children and for the youth. So I'm looking for a sponsor in the community that might provide the coffee or a snack, and I'll be working on that over the next month. So September 22nd at 9:30 a.m. If you're interested, everyone is welcome. And we're also going to begin the Eye of the Storm curriculum for the middle school and high school age groups starting in September. It's a 12-week curriculum course teaching how to manage conflict and resolution through peace. And I'm really excited about that. It's going to run all fall, and then in December we'll switch modes and kind of go into an interfaith study of different world religions and holidays. So that's what's happening in the YOUers and the middle school age. And so this morning, Peggy Ruth is here as our volunteer youth class teacher. She's in the back. So if you are elementary age group, you can head with her to the back now and head downstairs to the classroom there. We're going to read a book and do an art project. And then I will take the middle and high school students over to the Fillmore House for a discussion and meditation. Thank you. Oh, the blessing. The blessing. I need the prompt. Children, Uniteens, YOUers, teachers and parents, you are loved, special, and important. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. We are so grateful for you and all you're doing for our youth. So we have some announcements, opportunities for transformation. We have a hug meeting, which means Help Unity Grow, Sunday, August 18th at 12:15 p.m.
That's today.
That's today. Thank you. Thank you. Full transparency, I'm not the greatest morning person, so thank you for your support. Unity Basic classes. If you want to become a voting member of Unity of Charlottesville, you want to attend the Unity Basics 1, the History of Unity, Wednesday, September 4th at 7:15 p.m. Unity Basics 2, What Unity Teaches on Wednesday, September 18th at 7:15 p.m. And that will be taught by our own Reverend Don Lansky. Both of those will be taught by Don. And, I'm sorry? On Zoom. And we have our concert, Joe Crookston, Saturday, September 7th, 7 to 9:30 p.m. All are welcome. Unity, we have a new Earth Care team, Unity's Earth Care team. The first meeting will be held Sunday, September 8th in the large classroom downstairs at 12:15 p.m. And as always, we have our healing half hour, a wonderful half hour of healing and prayer every Wednesday, 6:30 to 7 on Zoom. Please join. It's a very powerful experience. And for our August Artist Show, we have drawings and paintings by Michelle Barber. You can see all of Michelle's artwork downstairs in our fellowship hall. And we have Shirley wants to come up for a moment to share some information about all the good they have done with George's House.
Hello. So you have done a remarkable job in donating to George's House. They thank Unity so much. They are so grateful. Tony couldn't be here today with me. She's just a little under the weather, so I'm representing both of us. She did a heck of a spreadsheet, but here's like 5 highlights. 600 Clorox wipes, 288 rolls of toilet paper, 440 garbage bags, 120 various batteries, and 165 individual snacks. Along with that, there were bed sheets donated and every imaginable toiletry and paper product. You were amazing. So I think you should really give yourself a hand. The drive is now over, and we're moving into the fall. And on September 1st, we're going to resurrect what we did last fall, which is donating toiletries to Blue Ridge Food Bank. And there'll be more on that. There'll be a bulletin. It'll be on the bulletin. You'll see it in the announcements. I just view our group as a catalyst for the extreme generosity that this church has. It's just unbelievable. And I'm glad I got a used car that was a little bigger than I thought I wanted, but man, every week it is stuffed. So thank you.
Shirley. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. And Blair wants to make an announcement.
Yes, I don't have a slide for this because we just confirmed it, but Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin are going to be returning on October 5th and 6th. On October 6th, they'll be here providing music for the service. On October 5th, we're going to have them return to the stage at Shea Blair in Greenwood. A lot of you went to their concert when they came a couple of years ago. They're going to be doing a concert at my house, to which you're all invited. We'll be selling tickets to that online. There'll be a link, and I'll let you know more. But it's also going to be the night I do the CD release of my new CD. Oh. So it's going to be two sets. It'll be my CD release and Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin doing a set at our house, and it's just fun. You tailgate, and we just all hang out together and have fun. So put that on your calendar, October 5th, 6th.
Thank you, Blair. And let's share our mission statement together. Unity of Charlottesville empowers everyone to express their unique divinity, making a positive difference in the world. And now we have a wonderful song by our own Rhonda Cooley.
Thank you.
There is an ocean surrounding me, mostly the water is calm. Just enough breeze to keep me sailing, I feel safe and warm. But angry winds blow suddenly, and I become a churning sea. Then I hear a quiet voice, it says to me, peace, be still, peace, be still, peace, be still, to the wind and the waves. Peace, be still, peace be still, peace be still, and the ocean obeys. There is an ocean inside my heart, mostly the water is calm. Just enough breeze to keep me sailing, I feel safe and warm. But angry winds blow suddenly, how this world can threaten me. Then I hear a quiet voice, it says to me, peace be still, peace be still, peace be still, to the wind and the waves. Peace be still, peace be still, peace be still, and the ocean obeys. Angry winds blow suddenly, and I become a churning sea. Then I hear a quiet voice, it says to me, peace, be still, peace, be still, peace be still, to the wind and the waves. Peace be still. Peace be still. Peace be still. And the ocean obeys.
Thank you, Rhonda. That was lovely. And in just a moment, you will hear from Reverend Catherine Klein, but I want to give her a bit of an introduction. So Reverend Catherine was born and raised in Washington, D.C. She is married to Joseph Klein, who is here with us this morning. She is the mother of 3 sons, grandmother of 6, and 1 great-grandchild. She's had an extensive career in business. She's worked as a government contractor. She worked at the Conflict Clinic at George Mason University. She is the owner of Inner Solutions, a consulting business that works with small business owners on startup issues and employee relations. And she has been involved with Unity since 1986. She went to seminary in 1998 after her children were grown, and she was ordained in the year 2000. She served 3 churches, Unity of Tulsa, Unity of Greensboro, and Crystal Coast Unity. Where's Crystal Coast Unity?
Atlantic Beach, North Carolina.
Atlantic Beach. Okay. She retired from full-time church ministry in 2022. She now teaches Unity classes online. She is a frequent guest speaker for Unity and Quaker congregations, and we are so blessed to have you here with us today. Yes, so blessed.
Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
Yes, it's been quite a road. Oh. It's so good to be back with you. I was here, I think it was 4 weeks, about a year ago, when Donna was on sabbatical. So, you know, and Charlottesville is like a second home to us almost, with my sister living here and her children and grandchildren. So there's a good clan of us here. Many of you know, Don and Patricia were classmates of mine at Unity Village, so we go back a ways. So yeah, it really feels like a second church home here to me. So, the last few weeks, okay, wait a minute, more like the last 10 years, have sure felt like a roller coaster ride, haven't they? As you heard, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., and so the only excuse I have for myself this morning is that politics is in my blood. From early childhood, my sisters and I were taught to thank God every day for the gift of growing up in the land of the free. My father often read to us from the front page of the Washington Post, and many an evening we gathered around the TV to watch Walter Cronkite's news broadcast. I see some of you know what I'm talking about. There was never a question about whether Walter was telling us the truth. Trust in the media and the inherent goodness of the United States was bedrock. And so the state of politics for the last decade has been heartbreaking for me, and I'm sure for many of you. You see, I believe that politics, healthy psychology, social values, and spirituality are inextricably interwoven. Why, the word political itself means of the people. The truth is, I've always been an idealist and an optimist. But I know the United States is not the shining city on the hill my parents told me it was. Our history clearly shows that we have a checkered past, just like every other country in the world. But the past decade has hurt in a way like no other in my lifetime. You see, I believe something precious has been lost. Patriotic Americans across the political spectrum have suffered what I think of as a sort of soul injury. Disillusionment, disappointment, fear, and profound confusion. And so what has happened to us? You know, it brought back memory of a wonderful play by Arthur Miller, which some of you may have seen, called All My Sons. It was first staged in 1947 and played on the professional stage, I think, 3 or 4 times. It was also made into a movie twice. So this is a story with staying power. The plot centers around the Keller family. Joe Keller owns an airplane parts factory which is under contract to the Army Air Force during World War II. The story is set 3 years after the war in Europe has ended. One of Joe's sons, Chris, has returned home after being in command of a company that was nearly completely wiped out. His other son, Larry, was a pilot in the war and is still missing in action and believed dead, though his mother, Kate, still waits and waits and waits for his return. Due to the relentless demands of wartime production, Keller's company supplied the Army with a shipment of cracked cylinder heads, which ultimately caused 21 planes to crash and their crews to die. Joe has knowingly shipped these faulty parts because he believed his company could not financially weather the loss of the Army contract. He had come from the deep poverty of coal country, and the success of his business had allowed his family to live the American dream. And he wanted nothing as much as to leave this legacy to his sons. In the court case that followed the discovery of the faulty cylinders, Keller perjured himself by placing the blame on his neighbor and business partner, Steve Deaver. He stood silently by as Deaver was convicted of the crime and sent to prison. Deaver's life was totally ruined. His marriage falls apart, and his children refuse to have anything to do with him. For the sake of his own family, Keller has been willing to sacrifice another family, and of course, a bigger family, all those sons who died during the war because of his actions. As horrible as Joe's crimes were, is there not some part of us that can identify? He is not an inherently bad man. He believes that looking after his family and their future is the most important thing there is, no matter what he must do, no matter who else gets hurt. He considers his actions normal. This is an important point to me today, because he says they reflect the values and ethics of the society in which he is living. In one intense scene after his family finds out about his guilt, Joe tries to justify his crime to his idealistic son, Chris, and he says, "It's a dog-eat-dog out there. The Army doesn't give a damn. If you can't deliver, they tear up your contracts, close you up, you're out of business. Who worked for nothing in that war? When they work for nothing, I'll work for nothing." It's bitter. Well, in the end, it is Joe's crimes that destroy the family he so desperately wanted to protect. Larry's fiancée reveals that she had received a letter from him proving that he was never missing in action, but that he had killed himself because he found out what his father had done and could not live with the grief and shame of it. Chris leaves home because he can't bear to be around his father. Joe himself commits suicide when the cocoon of self-justification he has so tightly wound around himself dissolves. And Kate is left alone, her greatest fear in all the world. what Miller himself said about the play is that it concerned the damage of unrelatedness. Joe Keller's crime is that he believes his responsibility ends at his property line. How often have we heard that in the last decade? Miller wanted to make the point that Joe Keller and all of us are both a part of and responsible for the great web of being that connects all people together. And he wanted to show the terrible consequences of tearing a hole in that web. Joe has done more than kill a few men. He has torn the web, and in doing so has ripped apart the very structure that supports life in society. He has violated the core meaning of community and left behind a terrible, terrible wake. Arthur Miller's message is that each one of us lives as part of an organic whole. In other words, we, meaning all people everywhere, are interwoven with one another. When we intentionally cause harm to another, no matter how strong a justification we put in place, if we stand by and say nothing as we see others tear holes in the web, we do harm to ourselves, our families, our communities, and our nation, everything and everyone we love. I know I put you through a lot here this morning because All My Sons is a gut-wrenching story that could have been written yesterday. A long, long series of decisions to break the social bond and the public trust has left us living in a heartbroken society where integrity is thought of as naive. Many people tell me they can't bear to turn on the news because it's just too painful. Deceit, greed, hatred, and violence have torn a huge hole in the great web of trust and connection that holds a society together. For the last few weeks, progressives across the country are celebrating. There's a new game in town, and there's lots of relief and joy on the left side of the aisle. But make no mistake, the anger and fear on the other side is growing commensurately. As my husband often says, buckle up, we ain't seen nothing yet. So please, let's not make the same mistake we've made again and again, thinking that the past is over and done with, or that our problems can be solved by any one person or group or party. The work of recovering the web of connectedness within our families, communities, and nation can only be done by us. That is, you and me, the people. That is what it means to live in a democracy. So where in the world do we begin? Well, this question is pretty challenging, isn't it? Many of us, I'm thinking some of you anyway, feel kind of like I do. So remember Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof? And it opens with him standing on the roof of his house, playing the violin and sort of teetering back and forth. And he looks out from there and he says, so how do I keep my balance up here? I'll tell you how. Do you remember what he said? Tradition. Tradition. Tevye's wisdom is that it's the values of his religion and his community that help him keep his balance. I think it's excellent advice for us today. So perhaps the best thing that you and I can do as we try to recover from the complexity of this past decade is to return to basics. So I'd like you to go way back with me this time to another story, to an Old Testament story, and reconsider the ancient tale of Moses, freeing the people from bondage in Egypt and leading them across the wilderness. I bet you remember it. At first, the people are all excited because the Savior has come to free him from their cruel overseers, Egyptian masters. But after a few weeks of struggling in the wilderness, hungry and thirsty, they begin complaining among themselves. They begin fighting among themselves. Many of them, mostly, they blame Moses, their leader, saying, "We should have stayed in Egypt. At least we had enough to eat." It's exhausting for him. So Moses goes up to the mountaintop to rest and pray. And do you remember what God does up there? He gives Moses stone tablets on which are engraved the 10 Commandments. By the time Moses gets down from the mountain, the people have gone completely nuts, remember? They've melted down all their jewelry and have built a golden idol which they are worshiping, and they're into an orgy of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not rock and roll, okay. But you get the picture. So poor old Moses is standing there holding this very clear set of behavioral rules, and what do? Grab the tablets, throw them down on the ground, and smash them. And I thought, that sounds kind of relevant to me too. But Moses reminds them that these rules come from God himself, and God will punish them severely if they disobey. As usual, fear, that tried and true strategy, settles the people down, and they're able to continue the journey. This brought God's favor upon them, and so as it turns out, food appears in the desert every single day, enough for just one day. This was how the God of the Old Testament wielded power, reward and punishment. I think today we call it transactional thinking. Something the people at a very basic level of consciousness can understand. And I'm thinking it's kind of eerie how familiar this ancient scenario feels right now. It seems to me that lots and lots of people have gone nuts under the stress and confusion of the last decade. Fear is still the big stick being wielded by our leaders. As for ethics, well, I asked my second-year law student grandson about ethics, and he didn't seem to know what I was talking about. It's all about the law, he said. So let's see if the basics can help get the ground back under our feet. Now, I know we don't hear this topic very often in Unity Church, but as Moses' story suggests, maybe it's time to revisit the 10 Commandments. We who are steeped in New Thought philosophy may feel we have evolved beyond the commandments. Yet we wonder why most of our congregations are shrinking. And good people who love one another are finding it hard to be civil, much less open-minded and accepting with one another. But think about it. In this atmosphere that we're living in, and all the division, and an insurrection, and a pandemic, how can folks living through this kind of turmoil be expected to tolerate an optimistic intellectual lecture on oneness, acceptance, and metaphysics? We New Thought students are very fortunate to be able to look at the commandments with an evolved understanding of who and what God is. Knowing that God can only be love, cannot punish or condemn, we reflect on the commandments in order to deepen our own self-knowledge so that we can be more present to life and more conscious of our thoughts and actions. Because we've learned to interpret Scripture metaphorically and metaphysically, we have the ability to understand the commandments' meaning in consciousness. When you arrived this morning, you received a document containing a list of the commandments, along with an expanded interpretation of them, which is, I take ownership of that, so you may have things you want to add to it yourself. So what I'd like to do right now is not read the whole thing, but just read the list of commandments themselves. And I'm going to ask if you will read them with me, just the top lines. Y'all got it? Okay, let's just read them through. 1, I am the Lord your God. Do not put false gods before me. 2, do not take God's name in vain. 3, remember to keep holy the Sabbath day. 4, honor your father and your mother. 5, do not kill. 6, do not commit adultery. 7, do not steal. 8, do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Woo! 9 and 10, do not covet your neighbor's wife or goods. Now let's just take a breath. Can you sense how far as a nation we seem to have wandered from these basic rules of ethics? Although known as the old law, they remain essential guidance for ethical behavior and civil discourse. You may have noticed that the more these rules are broken, the more societal breakdown and chaos there seems to be. There could be a connection. So, with regard to the question of how do we, the people, begin to turn the ship of state around, here's my suggestion. This week, let's read over the expanded interpretation of the commandments on your document and add whatever else you want to add to the interpretation. Then, let's take time to reflect and ask ourselves if there are any changes we personally need to make. Perhaps this rather humbling exercise will help us be a little more tolerant of our struggling brothers and sisters. Remember, Jesus said, I have not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. He wanted the people to understand that the old law must not be disregarded, and also that obedience to it is only the beginning. Basic ethical behavior is but the entry point to the spiritual path. These guidelines lay out the necessary prerequisites for growth in consciousness. As we reflect on them, let's consider the idea that there can be no true spiritual progress for any of us until we understand these ancient laws and are committed to practicing them. My beloved teacher, mentor, and friend, E.J. Niles, Reverend E.J. Niles, said to me a few years ago, these are the times that unity was made for. And I've come to understand that what she meant was that if you and I are committed to honest self-awareness and living the truth we know, if we're willing to do the work of growing in consciousness every day, we can help to set our beloved country back on course. As we expand our ability to speak, listen, and act in love, we can help to heal the anger and mistrust that has torn us apart. We in Unity are relatively few, but we're part of a huge movement of people dedicated to values like compassion and commitment to the great truth that we are one with God and each other, that separation is an illusion created by humans, and that love is more powerful than fear. Next week, we're going to dive into the new law. You know what that is. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. As challenging as it may be to live both the literal meaning and understand the spirit of the Ten Commandments in a world that seems to have forgotten they exist, we cannot hope to fully embrace the new law until we do. That being said, I believe by the service next week, you will see something that came to me as I was preparing this, that we are exactly where we need to be for us to be ready for the next evolutionary leap in consciousness. You know the old axiom, we can never solve our problems at the same level of consciousness that created them. So let's do the work this week. Let's return to the basics and do a thorough review. And I'll see you back here next Sunday for part 2 of Morality in the New Age.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I think I've lost my way, then I go inside and quiet my mind. I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love.
So now let's just take a deep breath. And another. Let's just breathe and allow ourselves to let go of all the work we've been doing this morning. And enter into that mysterious place within where our true power lies. This power that is breathing us. This life force we call God. We cannot enter this place or know this presence with our intellect. Only through open-hearted intention and divine imagination. As we follow the breath and quiet our thoughts, we sense this presence. We sense this love in the center of our being that is steady and true, like a pilot light waiting for us to call it forth into flame. So I invite you to focus on this light and be drawn into the spiritual heart. Here we are met by a welcoming presence that knows each one of us intimately. Every joy, every sorrow, every longing and loss. In this place, we're embraced by a love infinitely more powerful than we could ever experience in the outer world. This presence whispers to us that we are cherished beyond words, that we are safe and protected, that we are heard and known. This presence lives in us and as us. So for a moment or two, speak to this God of your own heart. In the silence, tell it what saddens and frightens you. Seek guidance for any problem and lay your burdens down on that altar. Breathe and gently let go into the silence. May we be comforted. May we know that we're not alone. And may we trust that the power of love can restore peace to our soul, and the power of divine order can restore sanity to our world. In prayer, we accept our healing and allow our concerns to be transformed into gratitude. So we return our attention to this physical time and place and bring with us the awareness, the abiding awareness, that we are held in the arms of love, and that nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate us from this love. and for this truth. We are grateful. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Catherine. Thank you for your love, your wisdom, your experience, your teachings. We are truly blessed. Thank you. So, we now have an opportunity to give back a portion of all of the good that we've received here today. And you can feel it. You can feel the good. You can feel the love in this room. It's palpable, right, PMH? But before we do that, I'd like to ask if there's anyone here today with us for the very first time. Hi, welcome. Hi, yes.
Hey.
Hi. Oh.
All right.
Frank.
Yes.
All right, Frank, you're here for the first time. The new Frank. Okay. We welcome you, Luke. I met you before the service. We welcome you, and I hope you've received what you came here for this morning. We hope to see you again. Yes. So we still have our unexpected income program going. The unexpected income program continues until August 31st, and what this is about is if you somehow receive income that was a surprise to you, which I happened to do yesterday. I got something in the mail that was a total surprise to me, so I'm going to tithe on that. And that's basically it. If you have income come to you that you did not see coming, if you would like to, you can tithe on that, and we greatly appreciate it. We are grateful for all of you, for your generosity, for all of your tithes, your tithes of your time, your talent, and your treasure. We would not be here if it weren't for your generosity. Thank you. You are so loved. And there are many ways to give here at Unity of Charlottesville: online, text to give, or give here into our butterfly net that Don will be coming around with, if you care to. So let's bless our tithes and offerings. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So as I prepare to sing this song, which I've sung before, I ask you all, I challenge you. You've probably heard this song before, but I would like to encourage you to hear it as if you're hearing it for the first time, because the authors of this song, Burt Bacharach and Hal David, wrote this song for today. And if you care to express yourself in any way, you want to sing with me, you want to stand up, you want to just express the love that is embedded in this song, please feel free, okay? Okay? Okay, Patsy, you want to come up with me? What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. Oh, what the world needs now is love. sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Put your hands on your heart. It's not for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know, what the world needs now. Sing it with me. Is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Everyone. For all of you, for all of us, for Reverend Catherine. Yes. Thank you, Bert Bacharach and Hal David.
Thank you. Woo.
Love you all. Love you
Beautiful.
all.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Pastoral care. We still have a pastoral care team. If you have a need, please contact the office, Vicki Chudd in the office, or email us at pastoralcare@unityofcharlottesville.org. Next week, she's back with part 2. Yes, let's give her a hand.
Thank you
Yay!
all.
Give her some love. Morality in the New Age, part 2. And it's time for our thank yous. Thank you, Boyan. Thank you, Luke, in the sound booth. Thank you, praise singers. Thank you again, Reverend Catherine. Thank you, Blair, our music director. Thank you, Blue and Jim. We love you. Thank you, Blessing Team, which was made up of Vicki Chudd, Don Chudd, and their grandson, Marcos, this morning. And we have healing helpers in the back. PMH is back there already. And if you'd like to receive some healing from healing helpers. And let's see. Who? Buddy. Buddy. Can't forget Buddy. How can we forget Buddy? Buddy will be here for individual prayer after the service if you'd like. And I think that's it. And fellowship, it will be happening downstairs in the fellowship hall afterwards, and that's where you can also hug.
And see art. And see
You
the
can
art.
hug.
And
You
see
can
the
hug.
art.
The hug meeting happens today, yes. Oh my goodness, what a morning. Okay. And we love you all. What can I say? You're all loved.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you. Thank you. Come on up. Prayer for protection.
Oh, where am I supposed to be? Over
You
here?
can be wherever you want.
Okay.
Oh, prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds
Surrounds
us.
us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever is, all is well. And that's the truth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all
That's what I get for only getting about 4.5 hours of sleep.
It's all right, it worked.